And Sugar, she's something else. Okay. Hello, friends, and especially hello to my bookish baddies. Welcome back to my channel. This is your girl, Brandy Nikhil, and I'm back with another bookish video. This time, I want to talk about one of my favorite books. I read this book for the first time this year, and this book moved me. Like, when I think about books that really hit my core, this one always comes up. And that book is Sugar by Bernice McFadden. Whew. This book, I mean, it reached down into my core and yanked, and I ain't been the same since. This book was so beautifully written. I had this on my read list, on my TBR, to be read list for a couple years, probably at least. And every time I would read the description, I'm like, this gonna go one of two ways. It's either going to be really good, or it's going to really highlight some of the trauma that comes with the experience of being a Black woman, and I was nervous about that. So let me just read the synopsis for y'all real quick. When the women of Bigelow, Arkansas first encounter newcomer Sugar Lacey, it's as if a storm walked into their town on two legs in spiked red patent leather heels. And yes, that is in quotations. Afraid for their men and their morals, they want Sugar out of Bigelow. But Sugar, who has traveled too far and survived so much in her short life, has finally found a place in which she could put down roots. To everyone's surprise, and most of all to Sugar herself, she develops a friendship with Pearl Taylor, a respected member of the community who carries overwhelming grief over her daughter Jude's murder 15 years earlier. From its tenuous beginnings, Pearl and Sugar's friendship allows each woman to confront the very thing that most haunts her and head on a path toward healing. Sugar brings a 1950s Southern Black town to life while exploring the role that love and friendship can play in helping us find redemption within ourselves and each other. It describes it beautifully. So, lay of the land is in Bigelow, Arkansas. This is in the 50s. Pearl got her and her husband, Joe. They have a son who's older. He's moved out of the house. They had a daughter who was murdered when she was a teenager. Okay, so they're still dealing with that grief. It's heavy. It's been 15 years since it happened. It's still heavy. It's still weighing on them, right? And Sugar comes to town. Sugar moves next door. And Sugar, she's something else, okay? She get money, her body tea, she's super thick, super pretty. She really is like, the moment she steps off, I can't remember if she comes on a bus or train, but the moment she steps off the bus, everybody in town is like, who is that? Who she thinks she is? You know how back in the day people used to be like, she thinks she all that. That's exactly what they was given when Sugar stepped foot into Bigelow, Arkansas. Like, she immediately grabbed all the attention. The women in the beauty shop were like, through the window, like, who is that and where is she going? I know she don't live here. She's not from around here. Mind you, this is a small town. So they're like, we know everybody from around here. That ain't nobody's daughter, nobody's niece, and she don't live here. Who is she and where's she going? And so the girls in particular are shook. The men are like, nah, who is that? Who is that? You know, they curious. But the women in town are like, oh no, she has to go. She has to go. They're a little nervous. They're a little nervous about Sugar stepping foot in their town. And so Sugar moves in next door to Pearl. And people, you know, in true small town, or what you would assume small town is, I'm not going to say every small town is like this, but they are gossiping it up. You know, after church, before church, they talking about Sugar. They talking about, oh, I heard she's a prostitute. I heard she did X, Y, and Z. I heard she this. If I was you, I'd make sure to keep my man in the house. Especially, they really telling Pearl, because they like, she live next door to you, girl. Couldn't be me. You know how that go. And so they are really, really, really creating in their mind an image of an image of Sugar before they ever meet her. And Pearl eventually is just like, would y'all shut up? Y'all don't even know this girl. Everybody relax. Everybody relax. First of all, Pearl ain't worried about her man, because her man, she got her a good man. Joe is a good man, okay? As I'm reading through the book, I'm like, oof, I needs me a Joe, because he don't play about Pearl. I keep getting ready to mix the names up. He don't play about Pearl. So anyways, what ends up happening is Pearl ends up having Sugar over for some pie. Real cute, down home, southern tradition. I'm gonna have her over for some pie. You know, come on over. And the friendship that blooms, oh my goodness. It is one of the most beautiful tellings of an unexpected friendship you could ever imagine. And I don't want to give too much away, and I'm not going to give you the ending where like you really are just like, oh my gosh, you got to read it for that. You got to read it on your own. But what I will say is that this book really confronts a few things. One, the power of sisterhood and friendship and how it can come from unexpected places. There's a big age difference between these women. These women are not similar in terms of the lifestyles that they lead, but because they connected, because they chose to give one another a chance, they both were able to bring to the table something the other needed. And so, you know, where Sugar had this like sex appeal and style and things like that, she was able to bring to Pearl, who had more of a stability and a wisdom that she was able to bring to Sugar. And together they were able to make each other better. Like that was the most beautiful part about the friendship. It's like, not only are we just, you know, connecting so we can gossip, but like we're making each other better. Like there are things that I can pour into you and things that you can pour into me. And Pearl did not see Sugar as like, there's nothing you can do for me. It wasn't a charity case. It was a genuine friendship. And the second point that I want to make is I think it is so important that we allow ourselves to make our own decisions about people. So often you'll see someone's interaction with another person, and then you'll decide based on that how you're going to operate with that person. Like, oh, well, you know, I heard they did X, Y, and Z to X, Y, and Z person. And so based on that, I'm not going to pursue a friendship with them. And listen to your intuition. So if you hear something and it hits you wrong and you like, ooh, I don't feel like that's for me, that's one thing. But stop letting other people dictate your life. And stop letting one instance in a person's life indicate that they then are just a bad person for the rest of their life as far as you're concerned. Because guess what? If you look in the mirror, I guarantee you, you are the villain in somebody's story, or you have done something hurtful to somebody that they reflect back on in their life. I wouldn't recommend it. So it's somebody out there not recommending you. So keep that in mind when you're making up your decisions. When you're making your decisions on how you operate with people that you have not even had a personal experience with. And I think the book also really speaks to how God will give us something to fill a void. We only have to be open to receive it. So both Sugar and Pearl had a massive void in their life. So as I mentioned, Pearl lost her daughter 15 years prior to the setting in the book. And Sugar had come from a home where she really didn't have that like stable mother figure. She didn't have that stable, you know, mother or big sister figure that she really felt poured into her. And so the way that they were able to come together and fill that void for one another, some of the most beautiful relationship writing I have ever read in all my days. I don't want to give too much away though. I don't want to give too much away because there's a lot. But there are a couple quotes that I want to read to you real quick that were like my favorites. As you can see, I had several favorites, but I highlighted two in particular that I want to share. Time is something that changes all things, and it is true in Gwen Lacey's case. Gwen had been sent to the edge of madness, but she did not step off into it. She let it mold her and clear the fog she thought was love from her mind. I was like, oh, Bernice McFadden. When I tell you this woman know how to use her words. Last one. So this is towards the end of the book. So again, Sugar has this bad reputation. Everybody's like, she needs to be more this. She needs to be less that. Pearl could have kept Sugar close and not changed a thing about her. She really was fine just the way she was. Dark, loud, and full of energy and song. Who said she had to be demure, low-key, in an unpainted face, and a Christian clean soul? Does that make a good human being a good and decent friend? Child. Lessons to be learned. Lessons to be learned about judgment, about forgiveness, about love, about the power of friendship and sisterhood. Do not miss this read, y'all. Do not miss this read. Pick this one up. And when you're done with it, go ahead and pick up the second part, This Bitter Earth. So this picks up from the end of Sugar. And it was also phenomenal. But maybe I'll save that for another video. If you've read Sugar, let me know in the comments what you thought. What were your thoughts? What are some things you maybe agree with what I said, or if you disagree with anything, or if there were other salient themes that you picked up throughout the book, let me know in the comments. And if you haven't read it, tell me about a book that changed your life. Drop the name of it in the comments. I'm always looking to expand my catalog. All right, until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.